I run hang and hunt on public land, so we're looking to shave as many ounces as we can. So my camera arm, had an idea to do a DIY, so I'm going to show you how I did it, and hopefully maybe it'll help somebody out there. So I first started off with a muddy basic arm. As you can see, this thing's almost 4 pounds, and that was without the strap. You had the ratchet strap to it, and we were at 4 pounds 15 ounces, so let's just call it 5 pounds. And obviously 5 pounds is a bunch of weight just to have in a camera arm, so I'm going to try to make it a little lighter. So I'm starting out with a 2-inch piece of aluminum flat stock and using my Hawk heliums and one of the tree brackets to kind of get an idea of the design that I wanted to draw out. As you can see, there was a Sharpie to draw it out, and then I'm just going to use a jigsaw to cut that out. Once I get it cut, there's what it looks like. I'm going to trace that over to make another one, so I'll have 2 of those. Drill holes in them so I can make spacers for them, as you're going to see here in a minute. So that I marked them top and bottom, cleaned everything up on the edges and everything, and then I'm going to cut 2 spacers at 2 inches, 2.5 inches long, and then I'm going to bolt these 2 units together with the spacers, just using 5/16, nothing special, with lock nuts to hold everything together. Once it bolts together, it looks like this. Okay, so you'll follow me along. Pretty simple, and you'll see it kind of similar to like the Hawk setup. Next, I'm going to put a brass bushing. This is all stuff from Menards, and I'm going to drill a hole there, another spacer, and I'm going to put a bronze bushing, top and bottom, and that's going to serve as my pivot point for my arm. Okay, and then on my arm, I'm going to take this 3/8 piece of aluminum stock. We're going to hook that together, so when it goes in such like that, I'm going to have a pivot point. I'm just using JB Weld here. Obviously, if you got a TIG welder, you could be TIG weld. Next, I'm going to take a piece of 3/4 inch, 36 inches. I'm going to cut it 10, 12, and 14. These are going to be pieces of my arm. And then that 3/8 piece is going to go into the 14-inch piece to make my pivot. So I drilled all the way through, marked it as such, and I'm going to JB Weld that into place since I don't have a TIG. Every joint in my arm is going to get nylon spacer inside of it just to keep the aluminum from crushing, since it's really a thin wall. And then we'll use 5/16 nylon flat washers in between it to keep the friction down. This stuff can all be bought at your local hardware store, super cheap. So I'm just showing you packaging here so you can see what I bought. This is what I was using. Everything worked perfect for me. Once the thing's put together, I'm just going to hang it up. I'm going to do a sponge paint on this, starting out with a base coat of primer, throwing some black on it, and then obviously I think there's plenty of YouTube videos out there that show you how to sponge paint. So I painted everything. It doesn't have to be fancy, just something to break up the outline, obviously. So just an old sponge that I had laying around the garage, and then I went ahead and painted. So I did steal the camera mount off of my muddy. So then I'm going to use a strap from one of my Hawk heliums, since I've done rope mods on all of them. So it's super light and easy to use. I'll use a piece of 550 cord on the other side to hook the hook into. And then this way I can take this arm off when we made that pin. So all I got to do is hang that bracket, which weighs 6 ounces. Super easy to work with, and I don't have the arm swinging out there. Once everything's put together, it's really stable. And I'm just running a little Canon Vixia with an external mic on it, and this holds really, really well. Not a lot of flex in it, so no complaints from me. I think all in all, I had about $35, $38 in parts from this, all from my local hardware store. And honestly, I had enough aluminum to probably make 2 or 3 of these, other than the 3/4 inch, since you got to buy 36-inch pieces. So technically speaking, I probably had less than that in it. But it come in right at 2.1 pounds. So huge savings for me, and maybe it'll help somebody out there. So good luck.